Thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session. Going forward, we're going to kind of try to smash this into 30 minutes instead of an hour. My schedule is a nightmare these days, and it's becoming harder and harder to allot the full hour here. I think that 30 minutes is going to be great. It's going to give us plenty of time to cover this. And then occasionally we will maybe have an extended to an hour session trying to catch up on questions that we can't get to in the 30 minutes. But I did want to let everybody know that we're making the shift to 30 minutes. Also, in the middle of all this pandemic and quarantining, it's getting more and more important that folks remember some of the boundaries that happen when you're in a Zoom fugue, as I am calling it these days. But to get up and walk around and those kind of things. So the 30-minute length is going to help make sure that, I'm being as healthy as I can be with all the things that are going on and everything that's going on with the schedule. So I appreciate that understanding. And given that we only have 30 minutes, going to jump right in here. The lineup, latest updates, upcoming, ask me anything, the format that you know and hopefully at least mildly enjoy, if not love at this point. Latest updates, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, customizing origins, class feature options, new subclasses, all those things. We are deep in the process of making sure all those are ready when this is released on D&D Beyond. And the team's working very, very hard. So that's kind of our critical path right now. But we have made an update in the Player Tools mobile app as well, where spell and gear descriptions are now displayed in the actions section, and then you can cast spells from descriptions. So we're going to continue to iterate on what's in the mobile app and provide more and more quality of life updates and provide more and more parity with what's going on the website over time. So keep that app updated whenever you see an update, because we're just constantly adding things there. The latest rules errata that I mentioned last week, all of that is now live. So orcs and kobolds, some of the racial trait changes are all in effect at this point in time, and you should see those reflected. And then compendium improvements. So I've talked about this for a couple of weeks. We started with Curse of Strahd because Curse of Strahd, and you see the champion there right in the middle of the screen. But Strahd is the most popular adventure on D&D Beyond. It is October, and we're a couple of weeks out from All Hallows Eve, and a lot of people like to run Curse of Strahd in this month, so lots of improvements there. So this is going to be anywhere from style changes that you'll see in Curse of Strahd to just make it look better, but then there have been literally hundreds of additional new links added to provide more convenience. So if a section is referring to another section, that is going to be very likely be captured at this point. So major updates when it comes to the usability and convenience that's provided in the book there. And we've also added several monsters that because when we started D&D Beyond, one of the things, one of the policies that we had was if something is in the monster manual, or at that time Volos didn't exist, but an actual monster supplement, we would have that available on D&D Beyond. And if something was a variant of those things, we didn't have those statted out. Now with the encounter builder and combat tracker in play, we understand that it is more convenient for us to have those things. So ultimately, when it comes to that, Curse of Strahd's added a lot of those kinds of variants and those monsters too. So it's going to be a greatly improved experience if you haven't checked out Curse of Strahd lately and you've got that in mind to run a Halloween themed one shot. I'm actually going to be doing that with my family over Zoom that's kind of dispersed. So I'm looking forward to checking that out myself. Definitely go and take a look at Curse of Strahd and some of those improvements. We're going to be applying a lot of those kinds of improvements to other adventures and other books on D&D Beyond in the coming days with our game content team. Upcoming digital dice rolling in the mobile app. rolling for ability scores in the character builder. That one's been sidelined a little bit with the Tasha's work to make sure that we're prioritizing everything that's going on there. I've talked about before character sheet updates, some of the rules exceptions, life domain cleric, divine soul sorcerer. There are several of those smaller things that we're road mapping some time in Q1 that we're trying to get to. And so that is something upcoming as well. And then something that I haven't talked about much, but something that a great deal of work has gone into. So I want to call it out for the first time today because we are deep into the process, the road mapping process here with this. But shared dice rolling is something that we're working on. A game log that everyone can see what everyone's rolling. So this is a step toward D&D Beyond being able to supply a play experience and a game space for people to play together. And so naturally, as this pandemic has come upon us, and we're trying to understand what the new normals are, we see that so many people are playing this game that we all love so much. And D&D Beyond, in our efforts to be convenient and enhance gameplay as much as possible, we are starting to move into step by step into the place where we are providing a play experience where you can come together with your friends and play. So yeah, the ultimate expression of that is virtual tabletop, virtual game space related kind of trajectory. And some of the first steps have been dice. So you've seen dice come out, and then now we're going to give you a way for those dice to be shared amongst your campaign and groups as you're playing together. So really excited about this one. I've been blown away by what the team is putting together here. I hope to be able to share more, some mocks maybe in the coming weeks. And we're even getting to a point where we're starting to look at some real development come together on this. So more on that in the near future here, but really excited about what's going to happen there. And then, people will be able to see which dice sets you're using, all of those kind of things that all of you have been asking for, very prominently in the last few months. That is something that we are working on.